What is up? What is up? What is up, you guys? It's your boy Xander here, back with another video. Hi. If you are new to the channel, hi, my name is Xander. On this channel, we get into all things everything. I talk about hot topics. I talk about important topics. I do music reviews, reaction videos, pretty much anything and everything my subscribers ask me to talk about. And occasionally, I stand a little bit. Today is going to be one of those standing videos. So, Beyonce's done a lot in the last couple weeks. She released the song Black Parade, which my reaction video, the link for that is down in the description below. She won the 2020 Humanitarian Award from BET, and she announced a new film coming out exclusively to Disney Plus called Black is King. Now, as a lot of Beyonce followers and fans know, whenever Beyonce does anything, it is scrutinized by non-fans, by haters, by blacks, by whites, conservatives, Christians, everyone. Anytime Beyonce does anything, it's scrutinized heavily. It's been that way for a while. And today, you know, after scrolling through Twitter and kind of seeing some of the stuff that was going on and stuff like that, I was like, you know what, I wanted to address it. Because my issue is that it seems like when it comes to Beyonce, nobody ever keeps the same energy as they do with everyone else. And I'm going to break down what that means, okay? And I'm going to provide some receipts. So we're about to get into some things right here. So I will preface this video by saying that I am a fan of Beyonce's. And so to some people that may seem biased. But I do want to say that Beyonce is not perfect, nor is she above criticism. My issue is that typically the criticism is biased, one-sided, and it's always the same people or types of people that are criticizing her for every little thing that she does. As a Beyonce fan, I can say that Beyonce has done some things in the past that I do not agree with. It happens. She's human. But my problem is it seems like people hate on her for anything and everything. Absolutely nothing a lot of the times. Now, I can understand why white conservatives hate her because she's pro-black, and to them that means anti-white. But what baffles me the most about all of it is that it's always unfounded, pure hatred from several people. And when I say hate, I don't mean hate in the typical way that, you know, celebrities are hated on, and I don't mean stan Twitter. I'm talking, Beyonce is literally criticized and ostracized by pro-black, feminist, hoteps. It's like people look for a way to tear her down. And I saw an Instagram caption from a writer that wrote on why this is. And I'm going to put that up here for a little bit so you guys can read it, because I feel like it perfectly sums up why people go out of their way to drag Beyonce, to pick apart every single thing she does, and to just blatantly ignore the good that she does in order to hate on her, okay? And so, as someone who has been inspired by Beyonce, as someone who's been a fan for years, my grandmother's a fan, my mom's a fan, so it's really a family thing. Sometimes I do feel that the hatred, I mean, it does get to me sometimes. Just because I feel like people choose to ignore the things that she does well, and they choose to ignore the good that she does for us. And when I say us, I mean black people. There are constant think pieces on Beyonce. There are constant viral hate tweets on Beyonce. And sometimes she doesn't even do anything. So, for example, the Black is King trailer was leaked a day before it was announced. And there were people writing think pieces about why Beyonce was romanticizing Africa and questioning her blackness and saying that her blackness is performative. When it was announced that Beyonce was winning the 2020 Humanitarian Award, people were talking about, I saw so many tweets about how Kim Kardashian does more than Beyonce and how Beyonce was undeserving of this award. Granted, this award was given by BET, and they choose someone every year, but this year people felt that Beyonce didn't deserve it, and specifically used Kim Kardashian as someone who did. And that is kind of some of the constant crap that you see online about Beyonce. Beyonce's blackness is often questioned. For a long time in her career, people were criticizing her that she was not black enough, that she was bleaching her skin, despite the fact that in her early career, actually, Matthew, her father, was tanning her to make her look darker. They say she can't be pro-black because she wears blondish hair, as if black people can't have blonde hair. They were questioning her blackness, basically. And then when she released Formation, which was a nod to black people, when she had the mothers of Trayvon Martin, Orlando Brown, and a bunch of other black moms in her album, just to shed light and to use her platform. And when she went on the Super Bowl in the Black Panther uniform and things like that, she was called performative. And they were saying that she was doing it for a profit, when in reality, Beyonce actually was losing money because a lot of her white fan base had basically ostracized her. There was even, Saturday Night Live even did a sketch on when the world found out Beyonce was black, because a lot of white people felt that she was anti-white. They felt like she was anti-police. There was a hashtag going around saying boycott Beyonce. And the whole time you had black people saying that her doing so was performative. So in one turn, she's not black enough because she's not speaking up the way that you want her to. And then on the other turn, when she does speak up and use her art as an artist to speak out, on top of the philanthropic work that she's done and the posting and things like that, it's performative. It's not good enough. And that is just the example of the kind of stuff that we constantly see around Beyonce. I don't understand why people choose to pick apart every single thing that she does. Beyonce, she released the Ivy Park line, right? So people were upset that she was sending gifts to celebrities. Well, we don't want to see rich people get free stuff. Well, Beyonce had also sent stuff to fans. She had also sent, Ivy Park, Adidas Ivy Park stuff to fans. Well, people then shifted the conversation to, well, Beyonce is a capitalist. She is a capitalist, and she is. There was one Bible tweet that said they were sick of Beyonce's exuberant displays of wealth, and they were happy that the world was turning on her because of her exuberant displays of wealth. And that to me is just ludicrous. I think it's absolutely insane that in a world where our president is a billionaire, and was a billionaire long before his presidency, where Jeff Bezos is on his way to becoming a trillionaire, where the majority of rich people in the world are white people, white men, Twitter, black Twitter, and capitalist Twitter has chosen a black woman who actually, earned her wealth as the face of capitalism. That is absolutely ridiculous to me. And what I mean by when I say they don't keep the same energy is because I'm going to throw some receipts up. You'll have, people, the same people, mind you, go up for, Rihanna and her displays of wealth and her building an empire, and Oprah and her rich lady aesthetic. But then in the same turn, drag Beyonce for being wealthy. You'll call Beyonce a capitalist, but you'll praise Rihanna, you'll praise Oprah, you'll praise these other rich people, you'll praise Kanye, you'll praise Kim Kardashian. There was a viral tweet about Kanye standing on a mountain, posting about the billions that he had, and people were, happy, positive about it. But then in the other turn, Beyonce is being dragged for being a capitalist. And that's no disrespect to those other people who have amassed their wealth, but why is the energy never kept the same? Why is it that Beyonce, a black woman, is the face of capitalism for black Twitter and for anti-capitalist Twitter and eat the rich Twitter, but then when it comes to Rihanna, as you can see, yay, she built her wealth. Why is that a thing? And that's no disrespect to Rihanna, but the fact of the matter is the energy isn't kept. You drag Beyonce for one thing, and then you uplift Rihanna or Kim Kardashian or insert celebrity here at this point for doing the exact same thing. It makes no sense to me. So on top of her blackness being questioned, on top of her deeds being called performative, on top of people saying she doesn't do enough, despite having homes for the helpless, providing free COVID testing, just various different things that she's done. And I'll link the video to the BET Humanitarian Award segment down below so that you can see like some of the stuff that she's done. Because a lot of people don't know because Beyonce chooses not to publicize it, which makes sense, because if she did publicize it, we would say, well, she's doing it so people know, when in fact, plenty of people have told that she doesn't. People were dragging her because they didn't feel like she did enough when Hurricane Harvey hit Houston. And Beyonce, in true Beyonce nature, she didn't say anything out loud, but then the pastors and the governor had to say, well, Beyonce's done this and this and this, so y'all need to chill out. It's constant hatred on her name. On top of that, people constantly talk about how she can't sing, how she can't dance, how she's overrated. And something just doesn't sit right with me when we tell black women that they are undeserving of their success. Especially because people downplay her in the name of Kim Kardashian, in the name of Chris Brown, in the name of cultural appropriators, in the name of abusers, and all types of different things. And that's no shade on Chris, and that's no shade on Kim, because they have earned their wealth in whatever way that they have. Or, you know, the fact of the matter is that Beyonce, who is arguably one of the most unproblematic stars out there, is constantly dragged. She doesn't post on social media very often. She's not really a part of scandals. She doesn't do online beef. She's never really in the limelight for something negative. She releases her music, releases her content for her fans, and then she goes home. And I think that is the reason why people drag her. But it's time to realize that if you hate Beyonce, you just need to come out and say that. Don't post about her being capitalist and in the same breath praise Rihanna or praise Kim Kardashian. Don't post about her being performative, but then think anybody else who does something that's pro-black or to shine a light on black people is great and doing what needs to be done. Don't tell Beyonce she's not black enough, and then when she is black, and she's putting blackness on display, say she's doing it for profit. If you hate Beyonce in 2020, just say that. And that's okay. Everybody has a right to do so. But I'm really sick and tired of people downplaying her talents, downplaying the humanitarian work that she's done, downplaying the stuff that she does for black people for the sake of an agenda and trying to act as if they're woke or they're enlightened. Because the hatred doesn't, these think pieces and the hatred on Twitter, it doesn't come off as unbiased because it's very clear. And it's the same kind of people, and it's the same public figures, it's the same accounts, you know, that praise other people for doing the same things. It's the same accounts that are consistently hating on Beyonce. And what bothers me is the fact that they just won't come out and say that they dislike Beyonce. They will go around all of this and take any opportunity to pounce on Beyonce. Anytime she releases something, drops something, even if she doesn't release something or drop something, they'll talk about how they hate Beyonce or how she's doing this and how she's doing that. And then in the same turn, praise others for doing the same thing. It's time to just say you hate Beyonce. And the crazy thing is Beyonce doesn't do anything to anybody. She really doesn't. So I don't understand the hatred. And it's gotten to the point where Mama Tina, her mother, has to consistently get online and go to bat for Beyonce and be like, hey, listen, my daughter does this. My daughter does this. Because I can imagine how hard it is to deal with that. I mean, if you look at Beyonce had a miscarriage before, you know, so she didn't want to be as public about her pregnancy as she was at first. She was scared about it. She talked about her insecurities and that. People said she wasn't really pregnant. And then when Blue Ivy was born, you had people saying horrible, awful things about her. And I'm not going to put that in this video because I don't want that here. But just the treatment of Blue Ivy and the treatment of Beyonce throughout that time and even now is ridiculous. And I think it's indicative of a larger problem. We're okay with black women being successful as long as they're not too successful. We're okay with black women being on top as long as on top just means within this box of what we deem is okay. My thing is, despite evidence of the work that Beyonce does and how hard she works and the things that she does for black people, we still choose to act as though she's doing it all for profit. Even though the Black is King film that she made, that's coming out of her own pocket. She made that movie. They say, you know, that it's performative and that it's romanticizing Africa, and she never does this for Africa, she never does that, when she was just responsible for helping raise $7 million in her global citizen performance in Africa. Or the fact that for the Ghanaian portion of the film, she actually got a Ghanaian director to direct that part of the film. My issue is that we continue to be willfully ignorant about the things that Beyonce has done. And like I said, she's not above criticism. And there are some things that she does that people may feel does need to be criticized. And as a fan, I've, come out against some of the things that she's done as well. But it seems to me that the stuff that we criticize her for is ridiculous. For example, there's this narrative out there that Beyonce can't write and that she's illiterate. And it's like any single thing that we can pick apart about Beyonce, people do. She's an amazing singer. People say she can't sing. People say she can't dance. People say she's underrated or overrated. To deny her talent is ridiculousness. Now, I understand if you don't understand the hype, but to just act like Beyonce is not talented, to act like she can't dance and she can't sing and she's not an amazing performer, or at bare minimum, a good performer, it's just pure and blatant hatred. You have this narrative out there that she can't write, that she's illiterate because she's a black woman from the South, and I think it's absolutely ridiculous. And the fact of the matter is that it's black people that push that narrative too, which is ridiculous to me. It's absolutely insane. To be completely honest, I think that Beyonce has this ability to spark insecurity in people, and I think that her image for a long time has been perfect. And so people look for different things to pick apart about her. But what really irritates me and what really honestly pisses me off at times is the fact that people will blatantly disregard the things that she does for black people, for people in general, to hate on her. People have chosen her, a black woman from Texas, to use as the face of capitalism on Twitter. And then when someone, for example, let's just use Rihanna as an example. I love Rihanna. I love Riri. And this is no disrespect. But Rihanna has been doing nothing but building an empire. Kudos to you, queen, but building an empire over these recent years. But you will never see think pieces on her. Never see anything about her being a capitalist. In fact, you'll see viral tweets about her amassing wealth. I just wish people would keep the same energy. If you hate Beyonce, just say that. So, for example, stan Twitter. You know there are people, stans out there who hate Beyonce. Cool. Say that. But don't try to, tear her down under the guise of wokeness and under the guise of being pro-black and under the guise of being anti-capitalist and eat the rich. Because the energy is never the same. The energy is never kept. So I just came on here to say that, just because I'm tired of y'all trying her. Like I said, there's some things that she's done that, I understand criticism about. I get it. But to be questioning her blackness and saying that her humanitarian work and her constant, uplifting and encouraging of black people as performative is ridiculous. It is ridiculous, and it's time to stop acting like Beyonce doesn't go up for black people just for the sake of doing it. It's time to stop acting like Beyonce publicizes everything that she does for people, because she does not. It's time to stop acting like Beyonce isn't one of the greatest performers and singers we've seen. It's time to stop acting like Beyonce doesn't bust her ass. It's time to stop just lying about the work that Beyonce does. It's ridiculous and it's ludicrous. And even if you don't believe that she's as talented as a lot of people do, to be questioning her blackness and saying that she doesn't have a right to do what she's doing for black people, and to be saying that she's performative. For one, she's a recording artist, and all artists use art, as a means of expression. All artists. Michael Jackson did it. Michael Jackson did it. Tupac did it. Pretty much any and every artist does it because that's what they do. But it's not the only thing that she's doing, and people tend to act like that. They use things about Beyonce to fit their narrative, to make it seem like they're woke and anti-capitalist, eat the rich, pro-black. But in reality, that's not what it is. Just keep it a stack, keep it a buck, and if you hate Beyonce, just say that. But that's all I had to say on the situation, but I felt like it was necessary for me as a fan to come on here and kind of say that. I appreciate Beyonce. I love her. I appreciate Parkwood. I appreciate Tina Lawson. I appreciate that whole family. I appreciate the Carters because they constantly go up for black people. And it seems like black people are so quick to tear them down despite all of the work that they do for black people. And I think that's a problem in the black community. When we see someone doing too well, we tear them down. And it's okay if they do well for themselves, but once they get too famous or too wealthy or too popular, then we start to tear them down. And I think that's an issue, and I think that's indicative of an even deeper issue which I won't get into in this video. But I just wanted to let you guys know that it's okay to just admit that you don't like Beyonce. But if you're gonna drag her for certain things, keep that same energy for your favorite artist, because I'm sick of seeing the hypocrisy. This is Xander. If you're still here, you might as well go ahead and hit that subscribe button and click on one of these other videos, because we ain't got nothing better to do. All right, guys, I'm signing out.